So this is the carrier sales screen or the tab, and we have different tabs on it as bid not sent, bid sent no response, response received, assign route, and all of the loads that we have on the system. So each tab has a different status when we are trying to book a load. So the first one that is bid not sent is when we have loads that we have not touched it yet and we are not working on right now. Then we have the loads that we are already working on and we already sent the bids out to the carriers that we have on the system. So all of those will appear here. Then we'll have the response received, where we have loads that we are working on, but we have actually carriers interested in those routes. So we can see exactly who the carrier was and what was his offer for that route in particular. Then we have the assigner route, where we can see all the loads that are already in progress and have a carrier assigned. For example, this load in particular has the carrier assigned. It was the rate that we agreed on, and we also have different information in all the routes. We have the time for pickup, the person that already booked the load. We also have the load ID. We have the customer, the equipment that we needed for the pickup time, and location, the delivery time and location. Then we have the revenue, that is what the income that we are receiving, like the customer is paying for this load. The target rate, this is usually set up by the system. We have two ways of finding out how much are we expect to spend on this load. So we have the warp suggestion. This is usually for Walmart loads or LTL loads that the system suggests as a rate to cover this one. And we also have the DAT integration. So DAT is the platform where we can post out loads, and we also can check the market on those specific routes. We also have a historic rate, that is the average that this lane has been made before. So now we will see like example of how we can send out a bid. For example, I'm gonna look for this load that is that it has not been working yet. So we can look for the load in particular, and we can see all the information about it. We have 2 days and 22 hours to pick up this load. It has not been covered yet. As you can see, it's on the bid not sent. If the load was already covered, it will appear as in assigner route. So right now we are going to try to send the bid out to the carriers. So we can click here on the actions part in view bid, and we can proceed to check all the information about the load. We have the pickup address, the drop-off address, the pickup date, and the drop-off date time. These are service options. There's are like additional or special requirements that we need for this movement. In this case, we don't have anything. We have the equipment that we need exactly. We need a 53-foot reefer with team. Now the mod on settings. We need to check this one because this is very particular way to do sending out the bids. We have the manual review and the auto assigning when carrier update the load. So we always have to check that we need to do it manually for us to assign the loads to the carriers. We can have 3 ways of showing the bid to the carriers. We have that the carrier can place a bid. That means that the carrier can suggest a price or make an offer for this movement. Show warp offer, that will be that we have that we set a price, we send out the bid with a specific price, and we can show the bid on board, so the carriers can log in into our platform, and that way they can see all the loads that we have available, and they can reach out or post the bid directly there. So in most of the FTL loads, we need to have it like this. Allow the carrier to place the bid to see what is the market at, and also show the bids on board. Sometimes we don't have, we are not working exactly in a particular load because it's not a priority, but the carriers can check it out on the system and can place a bid, and we could cover it besides not working on it. Now we will continue to see how we can manage and send the bids out to the carriers. We have four ways of sending out the bid, of adding carriers to this particular route. So we can add manually carriers in this button. So we have here all carriers that are on our system. We have several pages, and we can directly search here the carrier name, the MC number, or the DOT number. Then we can add carriers by pools. We have certain pools built on the system when we can that we can use to find coverage. This is mostly used for Walmart loads or LTL loads. We can check what is exactly the name of the pool and what type of equipment they use. Also, we can add carriers by locations. So this is the most common way to do it. So in this case, we can select the state that we are looking right now. So we know that this movement needs to be picked up in Muscatine, Iowa. So we click this state, and then we sync to match all the carriers that are in the area, and that way we can add every single carrier that match the description of what we need, and that it makes a match for this movement. Also, we can add pools by coverage area. That is kind of the similar way, but instead of just doing it by carriers on the area, we can do it by pools in the area. So now that we are already added the carriers that match the description of the load and have the equipment that we need, we just send out the bid by selecting all the carriers and sending out the bid. The bid that we send, the carriers will receive it via email and phone number. This information is provided by the carriers when they set up on our system. This is the way that they receive the email. This is the subject, and this is the way that they receive it via email, via SMS. Then we send 2 carriers, and that's it. That's how we send out bids to all carriers. We can see here exactly who was the person that sent out the bid and the exact time that they did it. Also, we can check here exactly how they received. So in this particular case, this carrier received it via email and is being processed right now. After they receive it, the system updates it and says if it was a receiver, decline, accepted, it will change the status here on this particular event story.
And Javi, how do I know when a bid comes in? Is it on the screen?
Okay, so when a bids come in, it will appear here in actions. It will be something like this. It will be something like this. So we have here that this particular carrier placed a bid at this exact time for this price under this route. And then if we agree with the carriers for this amount, we just have to accept the bid. And that way we can check everything here to assign the carrier to the load. Also, we receive notification in a Slack channel of all the bids that we are receiving from the carriers. We can check in this channel that we receive every single bid that comes into the system, the exact route, the name of the carrier, and what was and the exact price that they placed the bid at. So this was done 2 minutes ago. So we can check here that this carrier is interested in this particular load, and they place this bid. You can see here an example, multiple carriers interested in a particular load and the different price that they are willing to do it. So we need to review with our teams which is the best options.
And when you say you're reviewing the best options, you mean you're reviewing the carrier to ensure that they're vetted, right? And that we can use them, because even though they're in the system doesn't mean we're just going to accept them, right?
Exactly. Sometimes they place bids by mistake, or they are not updated, or they are trying to look for coverage, and then we need to double check with them before assigning them. Right now we see that it was recently, just 2 minutes ago. So we need to double check with the carrier, try to call them, reach them, and make sure that they are willing to do it for that amount and the load is good to go.
And I see a note section.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see a note section, Javi. Why is it there? What do you use it for?
Okay, so we can add particular notes for a particular reason. For example, we can state here that this load, this carrier was interested on the load, but after reaching it, we make sure that they were not going to do it. So we can leave note for the team to have visibility on a particular reason why was not assigned, or what else do we need here to have comments on there, and just to have more clarification on a particular carrier in that route.
All right, so let's say that we accepted his bid. What's the next step? How do we get the Raycon and everything out to that driver? What's the process?
Okay, so I think I can take this bid because we are looking for coverage. So I'm gonna make sure right now that the bid that they place is not, it falls under our requirements. So we can check here that this carrier placed a bid for 550 and the revenue is 700. So we are making money on this load, so we can go ahead and assign the load to this particular carrier. So we can click here to accept the bid and assign the carrier.
Now, did we already check like the MC, or does now the vetting process start?
We can check the MC for the carrier, so we can click here and exactly check about the carrier's details. We have a lot of information here, and we can just make sure that the MC that they are using is good. So we can check here the name of the company. We double check it's the same name, the same MC, the same DOT. We check the contact information, the phone number, and the email address. We check the contact information and the email address. It's this one right here that match exactly with the with the, 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 with the highway portal. So right now that we already accepted that assigned the bid to the carrier, we can go ahead and send the, where is it here? We can go ahead and send the carrier the load tender. My email. So after we confirm with the carrier and we want to send the bid, we'll have to just send it via email to the carrier, and always make sure to add every single email that we have on the system, and add dispatch. It's very important for all of us to add dispatch when we are sending emails, because that's the way that all our team can check the statuses or any updates on this load. If we are not adding dispatch, just the person that sends out the email will be able to have that communication with the carrier. So if the person that booked the load is not on shift and the carrier is providing updates, we will not be able to see that. So if we add dispatch on it, all of our team will be able to see it. So what I do is that I put on the subject of the email the route ID and also the length of the movement. Load tender to the carrier. So this is the load tender that is approved by our team, and we can just paste it. We make sure that we are addressing the right company, copying and pasting the name on it, and we can download the load tender in the dispatch screen in the documents tab and click on refresh. We need to download the load tender. We double check that the settings are okay, all the information. This is the carrier that we sold the load to. This is the pickup location, the pickup time, the delivery location, and delivery time. We also make sure that the rate is what we agreed on, and we go ahead and attach the load tender to the email. We send out the load tender to the carrier, and now the final step is take the ticket that was generated on the system that will be appearing here in the dispatch inbox on Sendex. So we see here that this was the email sent by me to the carrier, and dispatch was added to the email. So we need to assign the load to us, assign the ticket to us as dispatch, tag the followers. In this case, we are tagging the leaders in the AM and the PM shift for them to have also visibility on the load or any updates. Now we need to add the route ID and we need to add the ticket onto the nodes of the route, and we pin it. So right now we can mark this ticket as pending, since we are waiting for the carrier to send us the load tender signed, and also provide all the information that we requested. We need to confirm the driver's name, phone number, truck number, trailer number, and type of equipment that they are going to use for this movement. Now everything is set on the system. We have the load with the carrier assigned, with the ticket pinned on the notes, and the ticket assigned to the person that solved the load, with the leaders as followers, route ID, and that will be all.
So now, I know that we have a team working on all of these loads. Do you report that this load was covered?
Sure. As soon as we cover a load, we need to report it on our carrier sales team and paste it as covered. That way, our team's members can have visual of that particular load and is already covered.